I'm from Microsoft. I'm an ex-Nokia guy. Ex-Nokia guy who is going to introduce Nokia X. Remember that? Alright, so I've been here already yesterday in the evening, but I didn't have any time for the sightseeing for this beautiful city. You know why? Because for the whole day today, I got hackathon session here, and we got developers working on Nokia X, and all the developers who participated in the event, they ported apps here. So actually, raise your hand. Actually, yes, that gentleman got the grand prize from Microsoft. I hope you are happy with the result. Okay, today I'm going to talk about Nokia X. And what is Nokia X? I hold this device in my hands. So some of you may recognize this is a Nokia XL. We launched this device in Mobile World Congress this year, and together with a couple of other devices. So that's why we have this presentation here to give you a short introduction about how to monetize. Remember how to monetize your applications on Nokia X. So about monetization, we have to talk. Another demo effect. Alright. Sorry. This one is useless again. We have to complain Mac for that. Sorry. Okay. To talk about monetization, first we need to talk about Nokia X Store. And actually Nokia X Store is based on Nokia Store. So Nokia Store has been there for years. You guys have heard Symbian, right, Migo, and any other Nokia operating systems. The store has been there for years, and still at the moment we have 16 million downloads per day from developing countries. Every day, 16 million downloads. 16 million. Just give you the impression about the Nokia Store presence in the developing countries. The next slide. So about monetization, I want to give you a big picture here. So the big picture here is about global market. So in 2013, altogether globally, we have 100 billion, more than 100 billion dollars for mobile applications. Revenue-wise, we have 26 billion US dollars revenue-wise. And out of those 100 billion, 90% is from the freemiums, 90%. So think about this as a big picture. So it's all about, first, it's very huge market, and secondly, it's all about premium, all about in-app payment. Next. So this data is from Google Play Store. So easily you can imagine that you will assume that if you have tremendous download, you will have tremendous revenue. It is the case for credit card billing on developed countries, but it's not the case in the growth market. Why? Here, for the download wise, we have top 5 download countries. Out of 5, 3 of them are coming from growth market. It means from growth market, we have tremendous amount of downloads. But revenue-wise, none of those 3 countries made it into the top 10 revenue countries. Why? Next slide. Why? Because we have different penetration for credit card in developed countries and in growth markets. So in developed countries, for example, US, the penetration for credit card is around 200%. What does it mean? It means one person in average has 2 credit cards. But it's not the same situation in growth market. For example, in India and Vietnam, you can see the penetration is less than 3%. What does it mean? 1 out of 100 guys, only 2 or 3 guys have a credit card. So if your application is based on credit card billing, you can easily imagine why you don't get that much revenue from the growth market. So remember this data, the previous slides. This data is from Google Play. So Google Play Store is based on credit card billing. That's why they don't have that much presence in the growth market. So that's a place. I give you another reason to use operator billing than credit card billing. For operator billing, the conversion rate is 10 times more than the credit card billing. 10 times more. So those data are from growth market. We collected from the growth market. So ever since we launched the operator billing on the same market with the same content, the conversion rate is 10 times more. Think about that. Now you understand how important it is to have operator billings from growth market. So that's the place where Novia could contribute, could offer developers something. So from Novia, we offer in-app payment solution which covers more than 60 markets with contracts with more than 160 different operators. So this is one of the industry best solutions for operator billings. And just imagine how important this operator billing is for the growth market and how Novia could contribute in that perspective. So in-app payment is not the only thing we offer here. Through Novia Store, we offer try and buy, advertisement, and in-app billing. The only thing we don't have is pay and download. But we have statistics saying that pay and download compared with freemium, the conversion rate for freemium is 9 times more than the pay and download business model. So we focus on the most important thing for developers. Here, lots of text, you don't have to read it all, but I want to emphasize here the numbers. So we have the industry best revenue share for developers. 70-30 split. Suddenly I'm loud. Yeah, 70-30 split. And this sounds a little bit kind of typical for credit card billing, but it is not the case for operator billing, trust me. Because for operator billing, not only you need to share your revenue with vendors, but also you need to share your revenue with operators. But here, Novia takes care of everything. So if an end user pays in the app, €1, you will get 70%. That's it. Novia will take care of the complexity behind the scene. We also offer try and buy, which is also based on operator billing. Think about that. So people in growth markets, they can try your app and then later buy, also with their phone bills. But currently, this try and buy is a closed beta. So if you are interested, please send an email to Microsoft. For the in-app advertisement, the story is really simple here. What we want to emphasize is that your existing solution will work on Novia apps. You don't have to modify your code, you don't have to change your application, it just works. So may I ask how many of you have used Develop? Okay. So develop is a free service. You don't have to pay. So as a developer or as an app company, if you register, you get an account, and whenever you publish something, you get some points. It's kind of like a loyalty program. And with the points, you can do many things. First, and very important for your company, is that you can promote your apps with points. For example, if you spend like 2,000 points, then we can put your app as a spotlight in our store. Then apparently you will get lots of more downloads. And also with points, you can in exchange, you can get devices, you can get accessories, and all these kind of fancy gadgets and tools from the web. And next one. ex-Nokia, now Microsoft has put $5 million into this program. It means $5 million on the table, waiting for you guys to grab. Okay, that's my presentation. Any questions, comments? The more the merrier, please.
I have a question. On the technical side, how hard is to start? Do I need specifically to buy Nokia X device to start the new? Okay. Do I need to buy Nokia X device to start developing for Nokia store, or any Android phone can help, or I need to? What's the gorgeous? I suppose you're technically pretty much good.
Thanks. This is a very good question. And the answer is simple. First, we have several tools to help you. We have emulators, which works exactly like device. We also have so-called remote device access, which is a web portal-based service, and you actually control a device remotely in the warehouse. And thirdly, if you are not happy with any remote or any emulation, then you can also get the device from the web. By doing something, you get points. In exchange, you will get the Nokia X device. Yeah. Thank you for the question. Any more questions?
You quoted some big numbers for the Nokia store. How are they separated between operating systems? I suppose this is both for Windows and for Symbian, the newest one, the latest one, which we have yet in developing countries.
Thank you. One thing I want to correct you is that Windows Phone are not in Nokia store. They are in Microsoft App Store. So those numbers are coming from, nowadays, not from Symbian anymore. Of course, Symbian is close, but we have X40 Asha, we have Migo, we have many other kind of legacy operating systems still using Nokia store for developing countries. If you see the number 16 million a day, that's not something, that's a big number. I mean, so it's a composite. So we have, like I mentioned, we have X40, and we have Migo, and we have now Nokia X. So altogether, every single day we have 16 million from developing countries. I just want to emphasize those numbers. Thanks.
Any more?
Okay, thank you very much.
Let's thank Manhui one more time, because actually the beer is on him and Microsoft. All right, let's see if Matt likes my slides. All right. Okay. Right. Oh, that's nice. Perfect. Oh, even this thing works. Sometimes. All right. I'm here to talk to you about conferences and events. And the main thing is about that is the question why. Why do you go to conferences? I've been to a couple of conferences and events, one or two, and I've learned a few things there. I looked at people, I looked at what people do, and how they kind of talk to everybody. And very often I don't realize why they're there. So I want to ask you, why do you go to conferences? Anybody, tell me.
Have fun.
Have fun, good. That's important, I guess. Good. What else? Networking? Yeah. Free beer, of course. Thank you for coming. What else?
New ideas, new information.
New ideas, new information. Anybody else? We're in a roll here. All right. So yes, many people go to conferences for many reasons, as you heard, right? Some people go to listen to speakers. They stand in the background and that's what they do. They just listen to every speaker there. Others want to network, meet very important and usually very boring people. And some people go there to party. And that's also very important. But the problem with all of that is that it's all wrong. At least in my opinion. You can argue with me. In my opinion, going to conferences, especially if you're running a startup or a business, it's about return on investment. It's not about having fun. It's not about listening to speakers. It's not about anything. It's about planning what you want to get in return. Usually, the conferences have a price. And even if they don't, it's time that you're wasting. Right? And if you don't plan for it, you're wasting your time and money. Right? The idea with conferences is that you have to know what you want to get from that. Right? So it's an investment of time and money. It's like a business decision like any other. If you buy a computer, if you rent an office, if you hire somebody, it's a business decision. Going to an event is a business decision if you're running a business or if you are in a business. So what you need to think about, what are you going to get out of a conference? How much are you investing? Right? And the only way to do that is to plan. He will win who prepared himself, waits to take the enemy unprepared. You have to actually have measurable goals. When we went to Dublin Web Summit last time, we said we want to meet 20 VCs. We want to find 3 speakers to our conference. We want to talk to as many startups from the region as we can to find stories. And we had measurable goals that were written down, given to our team. And then everybody knew what has to be done. If you don't do that, you have no idea what you want to expect in return. So it is very important to put it down, to write it down, right? And then follow the plan. You have to manage the time at the conference. And that is extremely important because there's only 1 day or 2 days. And one important thing with that is speakers. Right? Well, a lot of people kind of go to conferences to listen to speakers. And that's great and all. But the important thing is that everything happens in networking. Right? Everything. The whole value of any event is in networking. Somebody once told me that the best conference I've ever been to was when I didn't hear a single keynote. And that's true. If you listen to keynotes, most of the time, okay, it's great, you learn something. But you can check that on YouTube. Right? You can do that. So what you should do is find 1, 2, maybe 3 keynotes you actually want to see. And then the rest you skip. You do networking. I mean, after all, when you go to a keynote, and you sit down there, right, in the audience, how many new people can you meet? 2. 1 to the left and 1 to the right. But of course, most of us sit with friends for some stupid reason. So we actually limited to probably 1 or 0. Right? So there's no friggin' point to do that. Because the value is in meeting new people, most of the time. Another thing that you do very often is you go to a keynote and it's really boring. And you're like, I hate this. But I'm still gonna sit here for 40 minutes. Why? If it's boring, if you're not interested, go get a beer. Hopefully nobody will do that right now. Meet people. The venue is a very important thing. Most of the time people kind of just go like, alright, it's gonna be in this hole, whatever, I'm just gonna go there. But it's important to actually download that map, especially if it's a big conference like Slush or Dublin Web Summit or Pioneers, and figure out where are the key points, where are the toilets, People go to toilets, everybody goes to the toilet. Any VC will eventually go to the toilet, right? You can catch them there. Where are the food points, right? When we went to Dublin Summit with Max, wherever you are, we actually found that there was one really cool spot right outside the speaker lounge and between the toilets where people served a little bit of food. So every single speaker went there. So we just stayed there, you know? That was good. Met a lot of people. But of course, you have to identify who your targets are, right? Before you go, you have to do your homework. You have to actually go like, what type of VCs or investors or just partners am I interested in? You know, not every VC is going to be interesting for you. You're all in different industries, you all have different startups. Not every VC or angel invest in the same type of companies. So you have to identify them. One startup at Slush, what they did in their headquarters office was put a big blackboard, like you see, you know, in movies when they try to catch the mafia. And they put basically pictures of all the VCs they want to meet, right? And what the connections they had to each other, which startups they invested in. They printed out every picture because you will never recognize a name, right? If you have a, you know, Neil Reimer from Index Ventures as a name and you go like, what's your name? Wait, are you Neil? No, where's Neil? You'll never find them. You have to know how they look, right? So you print out the picture, you learn who they are, and you look for them. This real example from the Dublin Web Summit when we went there. So we did an Excel spreadsheet. You know, we looked at where they're gonna speak, what they're gonna do, different colors mean different things, where are the chances to meet them. So we met everybody we wanted to meet, because we knew exactly where they're gonna be and when. It's a lot of work, but as I said, it's an investment. If you're just going there to have fun, you're wasting either your money or your company's money. But how do you actually do that? How do you network? You know, networking, as I'm saying, is very important. The main thing is to start conversations. And people are usually very afraid to start conversations. One easy thing is when you see people enthused, a lot of people are very afraid to talk to them. But actually, people enthused are your best bet. Because most of the time they don't know each other. Right? If they don't know each other and they're speaking to one person, they're usually bored to death. But it's kind of impolite to just leave. So if a new third person comes, it gives them an excuse to leave because they left you with somebody. Right? So actually approach people in twos, don't be afraid. Approach people in threes, in fours, doesn't matter, talk to them. But just as important as it is to start conversations, it's also very, very important to end them. Because you can find yourself talking to the same person for 2 hours, and that person might not be of value to you. So, but don't think about just yourself, because many people go like, oh, you know, I want to be polite, and that's great and all, but it's about them as well. If he's not interesting to you, most likely you're not interesting to them. You know, 95% of the time. So you're actually saving the time for them. So if you need to leave, just leave. You can have a good reason. You can say, I need to watch a keynote, I have a meeting, have your friend, pick up the phone, whatever, just leave. And again, I said already this, but find a good spot, you know, and then you can just stop. This is my personal problem, is that I am a bit energetic, so I kind of run around. But sometimes, it's best to just stop and just wait for people to come to you, or just in a good location, you're going to be surrounded around good people. Another really cool thing is to have a wingman or a wingwoman. It's very good when somebody introduces you, right? And then you can have more credibility. If I come up and I'm like, hey, I'm Dmitri, I'm from our startup, I run the biggest blog on Europe. Oh, sorry, not Europe, Northern Europe and Baltics. So that kind of, you know, yeah, but if somebody says that instead of me, then that increases my credibility. And if you introduce your friends and they introduce you, that's very good. What I see many people do is they go like, especially if it's a team, like 3 or 4 people, they go to an event and they stick together like a herd, you know, and there's like these 4 people kind of like going through the whole thing, right? No, divide it up, you know, have different goals. Somebody should work on one thing, somebody else should work on another. Find new faces. I bet that most of you today, right now, are sitting next to your friends. Raise your hand if you're sitting next to a person you know. Yeah? About 50%. You're doing it wrong. Okay? Because that's not the point. You can meet them somewhere else. You can talk to them somewhere else. Sit next to people you don't know. Talk to people you don't know. If you see a face that is familiar to you and have no value of you at this event, turn around and run away. Right? Because you want to meet new people. Right? Unless, of course, you have a meeting that is very valuable to you at this particular moment in time. But most of the time, it's not. Another very important thing, and this is very important, is listen to what people tell you, what they're looking for. Sometimes you cannot do it, give it to them, but then maybe you will meet somebody who can at the same conference, and then connect them, right? Connect them, email them, say, hey, I met the startup that kind of you were looking for. And that person will remember you forever, because you helped them. It's very simple to do. And at every conference I meet at least one person who did that. At Latitude 59 it was we learned from EIS. At last time it was a girl from Trans Online. And whenever they contact me afterwards, I will always help them. Always. So be a connector, be a facilitator, listen to what people say. But the main thing is quality. My personal goal is to have one useful contact per day. And by useful, I mean somebody I can work with for a very long time. Right? If you get just one, then that's a success. Of course, it's a numbers game, you have to meet a lot of people, you have to optimize. But if you get one useful contact, that's great. And to do that, you offer help. Try to find something you can give to people. Don't just try to get something from them. You know, whatever you talk, say that, hey, I can help you with this and that, are you looking for that I can help you with? And people remember that. That's important. But how do you actually talk to people? You know, the main thing about talking to people is to ask questions and listen. Shut up. Don't pitch. Ask questions from people. And ask meaningful questions. Ask them important questions. What are they passionate about? Ask them something open-ended questions. Don't give them an option to give you a yes or no answer and run away. And seriously, don't pitch. Like, this is the biggest mistake I think that people make. I might need this again. You know, like pitching. They go like, meet an investor, they go like, hey, this is my startup, I just started 3 months ago, I have 300,000 users, will you invest in me, I need 50,000 euros. You know how many times they hear that? Imagine if this was like a date with a girl. You know what that is? That's like, hey, we just met, will you marry me? It's the same thing, you know? And talking to investors is a relationship management problem. It's not just, you know, kind of like, invest in me. Ask advice from them. That's what you want to do. What you want to do is talk to them and, hey, I have this problem, and I'm looking for that. Ask them advice, ask them questions. Don't just pitch. After like 10 minutes, they'll be so dying to know what you're doing. They'll be asking everything they can about you and your startup. Right? So once you start doing that, you'll meet a lot more interesting people, and there will be a lot more interesting for you. You need to have your first date. You need to have your second date. Now, you cannot just propose right away. I've done that once. I married a girl 2 weeks after I met her. It did not work. Alright? So you kind of have to be careful with that. Business cards. Business cards is also a very important thing about the conference. I have a very simple rule to manage them. I call it the 3-pocket rule. I have 1 pocket for my business cards, and 2 pockets in the back. I'm not going to show which one is which. But one of them is for important people and people that I have action points with. And the other one is, I have no idea what to do with that. Right? Most likely it's going to go to the garbage. No offense to the people, but I just don't know what to do with it. But you have to manage that. It's a very simple thing. But it's also, again, about quality versus quantity. You know, think about, don't just kind of throw business cards around all the time. Try to get useful contacts. It's not about business cards, it's about making connections. But also make them interesting. And I'll spend a little bit of time on them. My business card has, you know, where we met and action points thing on the back so you can write about it. And you have no idea how many times that started the conversation. It's a very simple thing. It took me exactly 1 minute to think that up. But put some effort into it, it can be a good conversation starter. But always have action points when you meet people. You'll forget, especially if you meet 100 people. At WS Summit, I was collecting 100 business cards a day. Right? So when you collect 100 business cards a day, it's very hard to remember what I want to do with them at the end of the day. If you have a demo stand, first of all, before you do get a demo stand, think very carefully if you need one. Very, very often you don't need one, right? Because you can be more effective outside, you can talk to people, you can network. But if you are, raising a little bit more money, if you are looking for a lot of things, in addition to invest, if you want to be more visible, yes, get one. But think carefully, it's an investment, so it's a careful investment. But when you do have one, have a bowl for business cards. People just throw things in there. Have some giveaways. Candy, you have no idea how much I spent my time around demo stands that had candy next to them because I was hungry. And I actually had to talk to those people. For God's sake, run a local server. Because at every conference, no matter how big it is, at Double Web Summit there was an internet crash, at Pioneers there was an internet crash, at Slush there was an internet crash. It will crash at one point or other and then you won't be able to show your demo. Wear some memorable clothes so people can remember you, so that you can actually stand out a little bit. That's, very, very simple. One thing I do, and I learned it actually to do it from Andres, from Tech Hub, daily reports. It's very important. What I do is, after every event, after each day, I write a report to my whole team, saying who I met, what are the action points, what I can do with them, and what each member of my team can do with them. Because I'll forget 3 months down the line. For example, I met a lot of speakers at Dublin Web Summit, and I couldn't remember exactly what they wanted to come to a conference. Like Dave McClure said that I have to contact his gatekeeper, and he gave me an email address, but I have to mention that it's in the summer because he hates the winter. Right? I would forget that if I didn't do that report. It's very also useful for your team because they'll appreciate it. They'll know what you did, they know what kind of value you got, and they'll know what they can do with it. And then, do follow-ups rather quickly. If you do that a month later, people will forget. And again, offer help in that. That's going to be very important. And always try to kind of do some learning points. What can you do better? How can you improve? What can be changed? And one little trick I do sometimes, when I really, really want to connect to a person, but I have not met them at the conference. Like, what do you do then? You just didn't meet. It's a bit tricky. So people can either hate you for this, or respect you for this, or don't notice. So basically what you do is you add them on LinkedIn anyways, and you said you met. You just do it. And a lot of the time they just add it backwards. Oh yeah, we probably met. There was 3,000 people, of course we met. And then you start a conversation. If they figure it out, well, a lot of them will think you're an entrepreneur actually. Some of them will hate you, but then, they're probably from Finland or something. So it's the last chance to contact. A bit of general tips is, we were talking a bit about standing out. But one really cool thing some people do is they use the Q&A at the end of the speeches. If for some stupid reason you're still listening to them. So what they do is that they get up, introduce themselves at every speech, and say, hey, I'm Dmitri Sarle from Arctic Startup, and ask a question. So imagine a guy wearing, a peacock suit because he wants to stand out, who's asking a question at every keynote, and you're listening to them. How many people are going to know that guy at the end of the conference? Everybody. They know who you are, what you do, and then they want to speak to you, because you ask a lot of questions. Okay, you might be a bit annoying, but people will know you. Put stickers on your badges of your company, or also of what you want to do or who you want to meet. Right? Because most conferences, they screw up stickers or badges. It's very small, the main company name, nobody can ever see it. Your name is totally unimportant, of course, for some strange reason. So use stickers, put something in there so people know who you are. After parties and side events. You have no idea, but this is actually one of the coolest places to meet people, is the side events, especially at big conferences, because there's 3,000 people. What are the chances of meeting cool people when it's 95% students or something, right? So actually go and try to figure out where are the conferences. For example, at Latitude 59, that just happened last week, I forgot to register, right? When I'm media, and I always get the ticket, whatever, but I just forgot to send my registration, so I was not invited to any of the speaker notes or whatever. So I just asked where they are, and I just went. That was fine. I met every single speaker, I met every single person I wanted to. Okay, I knew people, so they were like, that guy's probably invited. But you can sneak into some places, you can actually go to some places, and then some parties, like investors organize some extra parties, so if you ask around what's happening, you can find some pretty cool places. Use Twitter and social media. For example, when we went to Dublin Up Summit again or any other event, sometimes we tweet that we're going to have a beer before the conference if anybody wants to come. We met a lot of cool people through that, one-on-one conversations. It's a cool thing to use, and then you can find that what some other people are doing there. Very simple, charge your devices. And be creative, right? There are no rules. This is again from Latitude 59. This guy was wearing this sticker thing for 2 days, and he met shitloads of people. He met a lot of investors, he met a lot of VCs. I know the guy, he's very passionate, and he met a lot of people. Another thing I know a company did called Triplet. What they did, they went to a conference, and they went again to all these after parties with a team of 4. And what they did, at the end of every after party, they went to the exit, and they were standing in a row there, like that, right? And to every person that was leaving the party, they were going like, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming, it was very good of you, we're from Triplet. So they did it to every person. Every single person thought they were the sponsors and the organizing of those parties. Every single one. And everybody knew who they are afterwards, right? So it's those little things. Be creative, hack, think of different things. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I didn't have like a final point there, so. Any questions? Yes.
You mentioned something about the action points, what's that? Can you please be more specific?
So whenever you talk to people, right, you need to figure out what to do next with that. It's not a random conversation that you're going to forget. You need to figure out, okay, do I need to send them an email about my company? Do I need to invite them to an event? Do I need to introduce them to somebody? Right? So you write that down. And with every conversation, you have to try to find those action points. And if you don't have them, then the conversation wasn't going too long. Anybody else? Are we in Finland? Yeah.
Why fuck Google?
Well.
Because you need clothes to stand out.
There we go. I don't have to answer. You need clothes and to stand out. People remember that. Very simple. Anybody else? I'm gonna start pointing at everybody. Wait, where is it? There we go. Come on. Who has a question? I like questions. Think of one. There we go.
Well, it's Christoph, ArcticEvenings, and my question will be, what are your most common conversation styles? So, you're the person that you don't know that he doesn't know you, so how do you start the conversation?
There's many ways of starting conversation, but the main thing is that it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It's not a girl. Well, sometimes it is a girl, but you're not approaching her to ask her out for a date. It really doesn't matter. You can say, hi, I'm Dmitri. That's it. It doesn't matter, it's a conference, everybody wants to get value. It really does not matter. They're not gonna go like, oh, that was a bad one, go away. No, they're not gonna do that, right? You can say anything at all. It really does not matter.
Hi, I'm Andrew from Ampa. It's me using your device. We were told so many times about elevator pitches, and today I basically got an idea that we don't need this. We need to set it up like the first date, very gentle and thing. So which one is it actually?
It's what I told you today. Pretty much. No, seriously, like elevator pitches, they're great and all, but they are meant for, the stage here. Like later we'll have some pitches, that's great. Investors, they get pitched so many times that it's boring for them. And most of the time your startup is boring. But you might be a very interesting person, right? And when you start asking questions, asking for advice, they might go, hey, this guy's interesting. I actually want to know what he does for some stupid reason, And they didn't want to know because, most of the people just go up to them and pitch. So I personally personally think it's a much better approach to start making personal connections with people. And I think that increases your chances. Let's take one last one, if we have one.
Wonderful talk, first of all. It was really enlightening. I have a question. You do all things what you mentioned in your talk. You follow movie people, you exchange email addresses. And even after that, they don't respond back to you. What do you think you should do after that? Even after that, they don't respond back. What do you think should be the solution?
You mean like after the event, they don't respond to you? Well, there's another trick I have, and that is even riskier than the previous trick. It's called the bomb, right? So if I really want to get in touch with a person, and that person is ignoring me on LinkedIn, what I do is I invite them on LinkedIn, send them a message, I send them an email if I have it, I tweet to them, I find them on Google+, I add them as friends on Facebook, all within 30 minutes, right? So if I do all that, and if that person has any other social media, I'll do the same on every single other one. So at that point, they will either hate your life forever, or they'll be going, wow, this guy really wants to get in touch with me. Now, maybe I should, spend a second or two. That worked actually all the time so far. So, but use it sparsely, only in certain situations. All right, thank you very much. I hope that was useful. And now we're gonna have Fadi on stage. Where are you? He's probably getting a beer. No, you're not getting a beer. That's great. Do you have any slides?
Great talk, Dmitri. Thank you. Very impressive. Great advice. Great pointers. And I don't know what to do now. How do I follow this right now?
I'm sure you can handle it. So maybe while Fadi is getting slides, I'll make it a little bit better introduction. Fadi is from the US, running an accelerator/VC, is that correct? Called Black Box. You should definitely check it out, and you'll probably tell a lot more about it. And you will need to try to pitch to Fadi today, but try to ask questions. And then he'll invest loads and loads of money into your startup.
Okay, hello Riga, it's too noisy in here. Hey, I'm just trying, I can't speak with someone else about totally having a whole party in the background. I want to hang out and party with them. So, thank you guys for coming. It's great to be in Riga. My name is Fadi. I'm originally from Syria. I live in Silicon Valley. Yeah, I'm too loud here this way. I'm not even used to myself being that loud. I've I've lived in Silicon Valley for the past almost 23 years. And in the last 3 years, I started an accelerator called Black Box. We basically help startups from outside of Silicon Valley connect with resources in the US. We help them with finding the right partners, building the right relationships, and getting investments and getting market interest partners. So, yeah, there's something a little bit maybe because I haven't had lunch yet, but it's great to be here. I've always been asked when I work with a lot of startups from all around the world. People ask me often, where do you see the best companies and the best startups? And I've been finding that to be the case, and it's kind of good to validate it and come here. It's my first time in Baltics. I was in Estonia for the conference a couple of days ago. I came to Riga last night. My answer has always been there's like great people, great entrepreneurs in the Baltics and Scandinavia. This is really what I've seen, some of the best people. So it's a great honor to finally come here and meet the people on the ground. You have a lot of great advantages coming for you. There's good education, there's good infrastructure, there's stable government and money and all of that. That's a lot more than many other entrepreneurs that I meet all around the world. I was in Pakistan a couple of months ago, and these people have no electricity for 8 hours a day. They're working with half of the internet. There's a lot of things that are blocked. Yet there is tremendous innovation and great things happening. So, just recognize that what you have is great. You're positioned in a great part of the world with good past and a lot of great future coming. Today I want to talk, I have a quick talk, I call it Founder Market Fit. And just describe what in my experience I've seen, like the successful founders, what's their background, where they've come from, and what makes the difference between, the probability of success is what I find it to be consistent with what I call having that right founder market fit. So I like this to be interactive. I've never spoken with a place where there's like a lot of background noise, and I'm like to hear myself too loud. I would have loved to have this a lot more interactive and intimate. So I see that we have one microphone, and I don't know if this would work. But if you have questions, whatever you hear, please we'll do the microphone dance. I'll pass it to you, and I'll repeat the questions and have this as interactive and valuable as possible. Okay. So in entrepreneurship, how many of you have heard of the? Where is that thing? Here we go. You guys have heard of the lean startup and first steps to epiphany and all of this kind of stuff. So this is what I've kind of like brought this concept from, and this is what I'm going to talk a little bit how I kind of distill my own definition of the founder market fit, going through these 4 stages that companies go through. As some of you who haven't read this, Steve Blank kind of defined these evolution stages of startups from getting to problem solution fit. And what you do is you do a lot of the customer discovery process. This is when you interview customers and you talk with them about your potential product. And the next stage is getting to product market fit. Thanks, Dmitri. And this is when you do the validation stage, and then when you do the company creation and how you do the business. So basically, these are like the 4 major stages. So just to kind of emphasize it on top of there we go. The customer discovery is when you get to the problem solution fit. This is when you talk to enough customers and you validate that there's enough people acknowledge that there is a real problem, and the solution that you're proposing sounds plausible, that's something that they will be interested in using or paying for. The next piece is the customer validation, where you reach the product market fit. This is the holy grail for startups. This is really when you have repeat customers coming back, And this is where you go and you talk to investors and raise money to scale your business. What I believe that comes before the steps is that what needs to happen before you get to problem solution fit and product market fit is you need to get to a stage of the founder market fit. So this is something to consider if you haven't started your company or you're considering moving into starting a company. What are the what is the thing? What do I mean here by the founder market fit? It's more like you have the customer discovery and the customer validation and the customer discovery and the product market and the problem solution. The founder market fit is more of the self-discovery that you really need to have for yourself. And what I mean by that here is this is the most important stage when you're really validating that the problem that you're going to tackle, the area, the industry that you want to create solutions for, is an area that you really care about. And it's you personally have a connection and a meaningful connection to solving this problem. I get a sense from just seeing Dmitri with his passion talking about conferences and the advice and the things that he's developed all around conferences, that there is definitely a product market fit with the choice that you've made into starting his own the Arctic blog and everything else. Because you can see all these pieces around it, even at the conference, even if the blog, even if the content if one of these areas is not if it fails, if he built this blog and no one comes and read it, he will learn something because he's educating himself and learning everything he could learn about this whole industry of startups and entrepreneurships and how to create value. And it's obvious from just the previous presentation that his own best practices, he's sharing that with you. So even if a blog that he launches in that domain fails, doesn't mean that he's going to fail. This is a learning process, and then he can put this learning that he learned from the blog into the conference activities. And the conference is likely to probably succeed. If the conference fails, he may create different kind of content and write a book about, the entrepreneurships and everything else. So all of the experimentation that you do in a space, if you're doing something that you care about, they stop become failure. They become learning process. And this is where it's important to choose a domain and do this self-discovery of what is really something that I care about. If in this case we're talking Dmitri, probably if I'm making this up. He cares about people, he cares about entrepreneurs, and he wants to connect people and help people. It's like this is the biggest probably thing that weaves all of that together. So identifying that's what I mean by the self-discovery. I'll get into it a little bit more further, but in kind of a huge way. Here we go. Okay. So it's interesting because it's like this is at the product market fit is really when you're having conversation with investors. And the problem solution fit is when you're having conversations with customers. At the self-discovery and the founder market fit stage is when you're having conversation with yourself and with the people that you trust and the friends and understanding, is this a domain that I want to go into? And selecting that is a key to the success that I've seen working with hundreds of startups and seeing the ones who've succeeded that always have this kind of emotional connection to what they're working on. So having that identification is really the key thing to what I'm trying to convey here today. So, how do you do this self-discovery? You're a 24, 25-year-old and you're really still, how do you know? You learn more about yourself with more life experiences and the things that you do. And those are the kind of indication that you gather about your life, that this is what interests you. The question that there's some ways that you can help you questioning and being self-honest. What I personally is interested in. Who are the people that you look up to? Is another method. If Steve Jobs of the 10 people that Jesus, and list out the people who are important to you, that they connect with. You feel like, Gandhi, whatever, and then right next to each one of those, what is the trait, what is the characteristics of this person that you really attracted to? What is the most, what is the one thing that you like about this person? Those are the things that you tend to have yourself. So if you're inspired by the creativity or boldness or whatever, the audacity of Steve Jobs, that's probably a characteristic and a trait that you had yourself. So help you kind of identify and figure out what are the things that you care about sometimes by looking at the people that are meaningful in your life. Figuring out, because this is really where your strength comes about. Your strongest assets are typically the things that you do that you enjoy working on and you care about. So focusing on your strength is the best place to start with. And starting from that place is help you understand that if this is the domain that you care about and you feel like you have a specific strength in communicating with people, you care about entrepreneurships and startups and helping this Baltics ecosystems, and you have the ability to come out and speak with people and approach potential speakers, leveraging these strengths to create value by being the person who you are, tend to be a lot more effective than learning how to do something that is not very natural to you. Make sense? From here is figuring out like what are the problems in this area? What are the problems and what is the main thing that you think that is not happening because of events and conferences and these entrepreneurs yet not getting the value that you envision that is possible? So identifying certain pain and certain problems and going to solve those is a lot more effective than just thinking about a business opportunity or a trend or, Internet of Things right now, or one for itself, or whatever it is, or gaming. I want to build this because now we can flip it and make money. Most companies fail because they're chasing a trend, chasing an opportunity to make money. The companies that have succeeded always have done some things because they care about it. Regardless if this is an idea that's been done before or hasn't been done before, it's, Dropbox was not a new idea. We've had the iDrive and xDrive and whatever, all the online stories before, and they all never become a Dropbox. Drew Houston was having the problem himself. It was meaningful for him, and he wanted to solve it and do the right thing. And he created a file sharing system that has become, $10 billion company. Google was not the first search engine. They also was like, we can do it better. So leveraging the strength and doing tackling problems that are meaningful to you, anything along that path will cease to be failure. All the non-success, the road to success is never a linear and straight shot. So it's going to be a bunch of ups and downs. But all these down moments, you'll be able to bounce right back up because those are learning process, and you're gathering this learning and adjusting and navigating, pivoting to achieve within the same space that you care about. Thinking about that, we've done research and I've talked to many people. It's always the entrepreneurs who are driven by making a difference have ended up being the richest entrepreneurs than the ones who are the one driven by really, chasing market opportunities and building successful businesses. So things about what is possible for us right now. Life's changing way too fast. The rate of change and evolution of technology, and from Moore's laws to the power of computing to the internet has been engulfing us, and it's in the complete environment that we live in. All these possibilities that we could do right now, we're in a period of history. We're so lucky because right now, in the next 20 years still, we could do things that could impact life in a much bigger way. And this hasn't happened, to our parents and your parents and other, 20 years ago. This is has been the case. So we are in a unique situation, and I don't know what's the next big thing is going to be, what's going to lead us to. It's even more significant changes and more evolutionary and more development in technology and all of that. But this is the opportunity to really make a difference and think of the creating something, building a business, and launching a venture is something that should come from a place of closely consistent with your personality, because this is where you will have the highest chances of success, luckily, fortunately, and storage things that I want to have updated files, and I want to have everybody who can have the ability to store something will be immediately available in the other device for the other person right away. So having a big vision is a clear place where I've seen also most of these entrepreneurs, as they move with their ventures and they move with their projects, they end up doing things that they expand their vision and they recognize the possibility of making a huge impact. And getting that clarity along the way is a great thing. And this is where this is the kind of thing that's going to keep you moving, and where all the disappointment and other things are happening as a nature of building any business. So the thing about having a vision is, when you have a big vision, you need a lot of help. And the kind of help that you need is not just the help that you can hire. You know, the old saying, it's like it takes a village to raise a child, and it takes a city to raise a startup. Building a big startups that changes people's lives, that changes habits, that you have, millions or tens of millions or hundreds of millions or billions of users using a product that you've created that is changing their life experiences, making their life better, making it more connected, making it more productive, making it more efficient, is pretty satisfying. And having that kind of, building something on that scale is going to require that you need a lot of help, where it's not the kind of help that, you only raise money and you hire a bunch of people to do it. It doesn't happen this way. It's the kind of help that happens randomly, is when other people want to help you because they see the potential, the value of your vision, because you have the ability to articulate, to say that, I want to organize the world information. That's pretty crazy and audacious vision by Larry and Sergey, but they have people who are willing to make the right connections and bring in the best scientists, bring in the best advisors, and that's the kind of help that you need. So having a big vision is a good thing, and knowing that having a big vision requires getting a lot of help is a place that you need to be aware of. The interesting part about getting help is like, how do you get all the help that you can get? And the thing when you look at this argument that kind of like I can observe and I put together here, it's a way where you can recognize where you have a big idea, you have a big vision, you need help. The truth is, all of us, by definition, by our nature, we like to help. Help in human nature is like in our DNA. We feel more satisfied when we help someone. When we see a little kid fall off the bicycle, we help them get back on the bike and they go out in the park, you feel good. When someone asks you to help them with something, you do their favor and you feel good about it. So there's a human nature that we all satisfy, and we're looking to satisfy on a constant basis, is helping. And that's why we form organizations, we form communities, and we form families, and we start prioritizing the help. We help the people that we know first. So we help our spouses, we help our parents and kids, and if we're in this environment right now and something, we don't have earthquake in Riga, and if there's a big earthquake here and there's a helicopter and I'm sitting in the basket and the building is on fire and we can take only 6 people out of this room in a basket, and I'm sitting in the basket and it's like 6 people out of, what do we have, 100 people in the room here. Who are the 6 people I'm going to select? I will pick the people that I know. So follow this argument with me for a second, because it's really interesting. If you have a big vision, you need a lot of help. The good news is everybody in the world wants to help. And the people prioritize who they help based on who they know. So the conclusion to this is, the more people know me, the more help I'm going to get. So it's, the old question of it's not what do you know, it's who do you know, is not accurate. It's not that either. It's not who you know, and it's who knows you, is what matters. This is really, may sound like clear as something. I hope, if you disagree, let's debate this. Or maybe we can debate it in quiet. But the point here, I believe that this specifically a key point to make in Riga is because in Riga and much of Eastern Europe, the notion of trusting people and telling and sharing your story is not encouraged. There are people who are afraid to share their ideas because they think people would steal their ideas. They don't want people to know. I don't want them to know what I'm about. I don't want them to know what I'm building conferences and I'm building content and I'm building this network tools for networking at the conference, because if they know that, they may steal my idea. There's this bug that exists in people's heads in Eastern Europe. And in most of Europe, and most of the rest of the world actually, where there is a sense of scarcity about opportunities and success. Everybody thinks if I have a good idea, I need to hold it, it's mine and I don't want to share it. And that flies exactly in the face of how you can make your big idea go big. So telling your story and sharing your story and sharing your vision is essential to putting life in your idea. Even when you think someone might copy the idea, no one is going to do it as good as you do if you're really doing it from a place that is meaningful to you. It is because if you choose to build conferences or to create this community of entrepreneurs in the Baltics, and I don't care if TechCrunch or AOL or anybody want to know about what Dmitri's plans is, it's not going to scare him, it's not going to get in his way, he's going to continue to do it because he's doing it from a place of what he thinks is the highest value for every person who's coming to this event. TechCrunch and AOL and everybody else may have that kind of intention, but that emotional connection, that last mile, that last move what he makes is what makes the difference and makes people come to his conference versus the other conference, or makes the distinction between a good experience built by someone who's doing it from the heart, doing something that their full intention is in it, versus someone who's just repeating the logic of the business. So this is the key message that I have for you tonight is get comfortable in sharing your ideas, trusting the people around you that the feedback that they will give you is only feedback. And sometimes it's going to be good, sometimes it's going to be bad, and sometimes it's going to be indifferent, and it's up to you to take it. It's all data. It's data how you make your idea better, and it's data how you make what are you going to build better. So don't make your belief about what you're doing determined by what people say about it. Take this as information to incorporate, to build something, continue with, having had that clarity about building something that is, you're tackling a domain and an area of something that you care about. And from there on is be as open, share with people, trust people. I guarantee you, 95% of people are good, if not more. And you'll be surprised. Yeah, you may get burned and you may get cheated in few cases. But in many other cases, you're gonna get surprised by like magic, by unexpected help, because someone overheard someone about what you're doing and thought that we like this, and they go on and make a connection and introduce some value, and it'll be another break for you, and good things happen. A lot of the good successful people that you ask them, what happened, and they will tell you they got lucky. In each big success, there is a moment when people have like a stroke of luck, and this stroke of luck comes in at different sizes and different frequencies. And it's this kind of luck where it's like the right connection was made, and you just nailed, hooked the biggest client possible, and then put your company in the next level. Or it could be by making the connection, and you hire this brilliant architect or whoever who built something phenomenal that make your product fly. So think of that openness versus the place of that I sense in many Eastern European of the attitude of scarcity, the attitude of fear, and the attitude of we don't want to trust because we may be cheated if we trust someone. Someone will take advantage of us. Most people will not. 90% or more will not. And even the ones who will try, they're not. They're just a little bump in the road if you had the unfortunate luck to go through it. And many more good things could happen before you run into one unfortunate bad situation. So this is the end of my one-slide talk here. So I'm happy to answer any questions. There's more things here I would go through, but I think it's a little too noisy to. Let's see. Does this would play a video? That wasn't playing.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them, but the only thing you can't do is ignore them. Push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
Yeah, you guys have seen this before, and to me, this is the essence of the founders. It's what Steve Jobs and Apple have recognized, that these people who have this crazy connections to something, they have the audacity to believe that they can change the world and they can make something better, are really the ones who do. And I believe it's all of you in here are those people who are the crazy ones, who are leaving the option of working for a secure company and KPMG and whatever other consulting firms and big companies you may be working for, and choosing to choose a path of starting your own company and going into this darkness, scary things that you don't know what's going to happen every day. And this is really what's the founder makeup. And those are the leaders who are making a difference and making our lives all better. So thank you for your attention. Hope you enjoy more beer. I'm happy to answer any questions. I don't know if we do a microphone. No? You can ask me, I'll repeat.
Yeah, okay. The question is, you say that people, founders are looking for innovative ideas, but I've seen a lot of times that people a lot of time they invent, a lot of time follows. For example, Dropbox, after Dropbox, lots of people starting to recreate Dropbox.
Yeah, so what's the question? So the comment is there's a lot of time that the ideas are not very innovative. And I say, who cares? Who gives a shit if it's an innovative idea or not? If you can do it better, by all means. It's not about the idea. Facebook was not a new idea. eBay did not invent auction. Starbucks did not invent coffee. Those are people who've taken existing ideas and have executed and put things that are better from a place of they've created the value that was, they've taken it the extra notch that gave them the entire market. It's not the idea. Ditch the idea concept. Ideas are worthless. It's all in execution. Every idea that you have has been had. I guarantee it. Ask Google if you don't believe it. There is no such a thing as a new idea. There's always slightly modification versions of the idea. So ditch this concept of, if I want to be a successful entrepreneur, I will build a company, I need a good idea. No, bullshit. No, the good idea is I need to know myself, I need to know what I'm good at, what do I care about. That's the idea. Yeah.
How do you think if I have an idea and I'm very passionate about the idea, is it important that I search it in the Google and find out what kind of competitors do I have? Because if I have passion, then I have to be a competitor.
Yeah, I mean, researching the idea is not because you need to be coming into it from a defensive mindset of I want to research what competitors are doing. It's I want to discover what's been done around this. Because the solution may be out there and the solution may be satisfying for me right now, and that's great. And I may think of, okay, what's beyond this? How would I push this further or something? So researching the idea is just a direction to know more. The more you know about the problem, the better the solution you can have. No, don't like because something has been done that you decide it's not going to be doing it. I mean, yeah, everybody would say don't start a social network, but I think social network is almost like Facebook almost has had its life cycle. There is probably a better way to do social network. Although this is what I'm just saying now, even me considers crazy. Don't do a social network. But unless you know how social groups behave, you have specific insight, you have specific knowledge, you've studied, you've learned, you've dove into it, you've done masters, and you've researched it to the whole, and you believe you can build a better Facebook, do it, because you probably can.
How do you have an idea and then you research and you believe in it, everything is fine, but how important do you think the place where you want to launch this idea is important?
I think the places and the environment is definitely very important, but it's not a binary thing. So Silicon Valley is a good place to launch startups in one sense, and it's very bad in another. It's good in Silicon Valley because you have a lot of early adopters that you can test, and there's a lot of experts, a lot of people who are experienced in building companies who will give you good feedback and will make it probably faster. There's a lot of investors, not necessarily easy to raise money, but the entire ecosystem has been built for 60 years in Silicon Valley. So yeah, theoretically it's optimum in there, but without optimization comes a cost. There's everybody else who's thinking it's optimum, and those are like also the brightest minds around the world, and they're coming to Silicon Valley, and they're the ones who have been building companies in the valley, also trying to launch companies. So your competition is extremely high. The costs of finding and hiring and attracting the right team members and developers, very high. So what you want to do is you want to look into your, location and look at whatever might be considered a liability, and there's a way to turn it into an asset. Your liability is in Riga and the ecosystem of entrepreneurs and investors and everybody else who can help you develop your idea is still in its infancy. It's early. It's not nearly as developed as Silicon Valley. However, you have the network of great minds in here. You have the friends that you went to college with. You know how to find the good engineers. That they don't have as many competing ideas. So the location as of today, as an entrepreneur, you need to be thinking that you are located in the world. You're not located in Riga. You don't belong to Riga. You don't belong to Silicon Valley. You belong to the internet, World Wide Web right now. It's funny phrase, I haven't heard it in a long time. www, right? You belong to the global market is one large market. Dropbox launched their product in Silicon Valley, they became so big in Japan. You don't know where your product will take off. So what you need to do is connect with Silicon Valley, connect with nodes where there is knowledge. Silicon Valley has some of the best knowledge about how you can build and launch companies. Build partners in there, but you don't have to be physically, permanently located there. So you could be in today's technology with the connections on Skype and email and everything else. We are connected with everybody anytime. So it's all about having the right partners, the right ecosystem, the right connections that you can launch your product. You take one more question?
So how do you think, how important is to have a business partner that shares the same emotional drive that you do have, or maybe it's better to do it alone because the values can differ easily?
No, don't do it alone. It's better to have, ideally, you definitely want to find a partner who share the same vision. You will do a lot more than you will do alone. It's a very painful journey and it's very making decisions. You need just a little bit of a sanity check because you are making crazy decisions from the minute you say you want to launch a company. So there's a lot of crazy decisions that you have to make on a daily basis. You need someone who's like, is this too crazy? Maybe, when there is someone else with you, it's, you need to divide the work. It's very important, much more effective to have. It's not always available, it's not always going to be the case that you're going to find the right partner who is really share the same vision and the same values. And you will go as far as the journey as you can. If you have to go alone, that's what you have to do. And so, I don't know if I answered the question fully, but I think if it was yes or no, I would choose partners. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Fadi. So who wants to change the world now? Now don't raise your hand. Say yes! Come on! Alright, good. Fadi, thank you very much. That was a really good speech and I think Latvia definitely wants to change the world. Yeah. Actually, I completely forgot when I was speaking that I am organizing a conference, which is kind of weird because that was the whole point of this event. So we are organizing a conference next month called Arctic Exit Path. I'm not going to pitch to you, I'm not going to say much. Fadi, don't go away. We have a very special, very yellow chair just for you because people are going to pitch to you now. They are. We're going to show you the best, well, hopefully the best Latvian startups pitching to you. Yeah. So, yes, anyways, I'm not going to pitch much, I'm just going to say the conference is going to be different and it's going to be centered around value. And you can win a free ticket. All you have to do is you have to tweet #Arctic15 and you have to tell me why you want to go there. And it's going to be the best one that wins. It's not going to be random. I will choose one. So make it good, make it fun. There's nothing random in life. If you're the best, you deserve to go. Alright, and now we're going to get to pitching for Fadi. So hopefully Fadi will be here for the pitching. The first company to pitch is going to be SonarWorks. And it's 5 minutes per pitch. SonarWorks, are you guys ready? It's going to be 4 companies. And it's going to be 5 minutes strict. I'm going to be like, I'll be like, that's it, you're done. 4, I can tell you 4.
So while he's starting up, it's actually a very good business case for us here because in essence we are fighting bad sound and it's a really good case here because I believe the people in the back really don't hear much of what I'm saying. Alright, so SonarWorks is a company that is revolutionizing how music is consumed and produced. How do you go forward? Okay. So musicians work really hard to get recording sound the way they want. However, consumers get a pale reflection of what was originally designed. And this is where SonarWorks comes in, and what we do and what we strive for is to deliver the exact studio sound onto any consumer headphones. So the product, in essence, is a software that is able to alter how headphones are sounding at an incredible level of detail. So basically plug in headphone into a smartphone, and the smartphone adjusts the sound towards what was originally recorded in the studio. Can you have the next slide? So, in essence, an ordinary sound experience is you have like the graph on the left, on your left side, which is like a studio standard, and then it's played back on consumer headphones, and it's all messed up. And how this technology works, if we can go to the next slide, is that the app takes a profile of a studio, it takes a profile of the exact headphone and recreates the exact original sound that was designed in the studio. So we originally started this project in a professional segment, so we work mainly with professional recording studios and have had a lot of we already have users in a very top level studio segment, so now we are bringing that technology down to a consumer level. So the business model is a straightforward one. It's a licensing business model. So we license this technology to music delivery platforms, companies like Spotify, RTO, streaming services, and we also license it to headphone producers on the other hand. So the previous slide. So we've been already in the market for 2 years. That was 2 years. We launched 2 years back. So we have already engaged quite a few companies and have started licensing negotiations with these logos that you see on the slide. So all in all, we see it as a 3 billion unit total addressable market, which mainly consists of smartphones, but then you add computers, old-fashioned stuff, you add smart cars and many other segments to it. So that's an Apple glitch. So we have had 2 rounds of financing this far, and now we are rising a 3rd round of financing. We're targeting 3 million euros, and with an aim to break even and achieve 500,000 users. And we see at least 4 trade sale exit routes to either hardware producing companies, big audio brands, or music delivery platforms. So the good thing about the exit strategy for us is that their company like Apple would have more than one reason to actually look at us, because it's benefiting their hardware business as well as music delivery business. So that's it.
Fadi, you have a question?
Yeah, I have a few questions, but I was distracted by that concept of the exit strategy thing. So I'm like maybe gonna ignore my questions. And how much time do I have? What are we having? 2 minutes or yeah? What happened if you exit?
Me personally, or me as a company? Probably I'll continue developing the company.
Continue developing the company, like you go to the other acquiring companies. It's an interesting concept to see that, you talk about exit strategy, who the hell knows what's going to happen, if you exit or not exit, and why does that need to be a strategy if the company is, really rich? Trying to expand, it's a little bit too non sequitur to be talking about exit strategy in my opinion. So the question is there an IP here? I'm assuming that there's protected IP, like there's patent and stuff? Okay. Great. So the question I have is, I don't have the musician's ear to distinguish the difference between, good sound and a great sound. And I'm wondering, why do you think that this needs to go to consumers and asking consumers to buy something versus just licensing, just like similar to what Dolby did, right? In essence, and then did the two end, the producers and the players.
And the question is whether you would care?
It's like, why do you want to go to consumers?
Why don't we go to consumers?
Why do you want to go to consumers? Do you think that's going to buy this?
Yeah.
They know.
I think the best comparison, recently we showed the demo to a person, and they were asking, before the demo, they were asking, is this like similar if I go from like MP3 to a lossless Apple format? And we were saying that no, it's actually like probably 10 times more of a dramatic improvement. And then they listen to the demo, and basically every person who does it, they just go like, wow, that's something completely different. So if you compare it, like going from MP3 to a lossless standard, then this is, I would say that's like 5% of an improvement, and this you are talking about like 90% of improvement. The other reason is that people actually care about music, and they care, look up to. So
let me answer the question that how do you plan to work with consumers if you put it in the headphones and give it to the consumer? Why the consumer? How will the consumer? Where do they come in and pay for it?
The consumers. Well, the consumers. Well, our revenue streams from licensing from the partners, from like the smartphone company like LG, for instance, and then the consumers pay to the LG when they buy the phone. Yeah. No. So it's, we go to consumers indirectly through a partner. It wouldn't make sense to start producing smartphones also.
Great job.
One question from the audience, maybe? If anybody has one?
Hi, this is Sarle. The solution is named for low-end headphones. Low-end, cheap. Thanks.
Now actually it's meant for smartphones. The feature phones won't do it because it requires quite a bit of processing power. So, but going forward, I don't see really an issue into trying to focus on feature phones at all. I mean, it's.
I have a question. So you said that it requires processing power. That means when I'm listening to your enhanced audio, then my phone will deplete my battery faster.
Yeah, we were the latest test we were running showed that it's 3% more of a battery drain. So instead of going like full day, like 12 hours, you would go like 11 hours, 38, but then enjoy a really better quality sound.
All right, thank you very much. And the next one is Max Traffic. And can you have Cooks to prepare? And if you have slides, then just bring them here. Yeah, just bring it here so you can connect it during the Q&A.
From Traffic, and actually today I want to talk about shopping because Max Traffic wants to make shopping online better. So a few weeks ago I went to the store to buy a new jacket. I found the model that I like, the cut, the color. I put the jacket in my shopping cart, I went to the cash register and I just bought the jacket. So I would say that shopping in retail stores is quite effective. Unfortunately, it's rarely that effective when you shop online. Only 4% of website visitors actually purchase something. Others just browse their jackets, their electronics and other stuff. And it gets even worse because most of them leave. So sometimes I will even say that you're wasting your money on advertising because you pay visitors to come to you and they just go away. And even the visitors that are interested in your products, they add them to the cart. But 3 out of 5 visitors that do that, they just leave your site without completing the purchase. You never see that many abandoned carts in retail stores. So that's why we created a tool tool. It's called traffic, and it analyzes and affects website visitor behavior in order to increase conversions, increase sales, subscriptions, and so on. So what we do, we turn your visitors into customers by telling them the right motivating message at the right time. So among our first clients, the most effective scenarios are the ones that target those visitors that are about to abandon your store. And we call it exit intent. We analyze the cursor movements, so we see that you're about to go away, and at this moment we even show you a message. So here's a sample journey of a visitor. He's browsing a store, he's finding a product that he likes, he's putting it in the cart, but then he hesitates and he's ready to leave your site. And at the split second that he's about to close the site, we show him a message that will motivate him to stay and complete the purchase. So yeah, this yields results. We are able to increase our customer sales by 15%. We can double the newsletter subscription rate if this subscription is what is their goal, or we can gather new followers for their social media. Meet Mars is one of our clients. He's running a small perfume shop in Latvia. We approached him and said that we think that our solution could help his business. So he agreed to try, and this is the message that he showed. This text says that, hey visitor, don't leave. If you add some more products to your cart or exceed the €50 budget, you will get a free shipping. And this campaign had a 30% conversion rate. 30% of visitors that would otherwise leave the store without completing the purchase stayed and purchased large products, so he was quite excited. So we sell our product as a service. We have 3 different subscription plans that are accessible both for smaller sites like Mars has and for bigger ventures. Currently we are working from Latvia, but we look forward to larger markets, to Europe and later US. So at the moment we have about 40 websites using our service. Most of them are in the trial phase, and let's go back. And others are paying customers. These logos, the first row, they are the largest online stores in Latvia. We are already working with 1A, that is the leader in this market. And the other one we just sealed the NDA deal and probably will start some campaigns next week. We also have negotiated some kind of partnership with the largest telecom company, and many of our clients are short-term loan sites. That's very hot right now in Latvia. So our go-to-market strategy is set in 2 phases. Phase 1 is direct sales. We are still trying to find the best product market fit. Let's go back. And in the second phase we will scale by integrating with some of the largest e-commerce platforms like Shopify, BigCommerce and others. So Shopify is our first advertising on the background. This is the Steam. Kristaps, our founder, has created a gaming ad network, so he's experienced in this field. I have worked in a media agency as a digital lead, so I have worked with many large clients like Olga, for example. Our developers have created the largest rich media banner network in the Baltics. Yeah, that's about it. Use mix traffic and turn your visitors into customers.
So, what makes you believe that this is, it's not like a one-time trick that people will get used to, and then they will, literally learn probably how to move the mouse to the top and say, hey, where the hell is my coupon? Like, screw you, or I'm not getting the coupon. And that's the first question. The other question is, how often do you think the incentive to buy is just the price or the discount?
I'll start with the second question. You're completely right. This coupon was only the first example that comes to mind, and many of our clients, they don't need coupons at all. They provide some other value. They remind you that, for example, in short-term loan sites, one of the things that they say is, hey, you don't have to pay us back for 3 more months. This is one part that roots for them delivery. In other cases, many of online store owners, they provide some kind of free delivery option, but visitors either don't know it or they haven't gotten to that stage in the purchase, and we just have to remind them. Also, if you're looking for a specific product, then sometimes it can be replaced with other products that have a special deal on the site. So that's one thing.
So how long has the product launched on? Launched in January, live for 3 months. So the longest campaign that you have ran is 3 months. And in terms of the engagement and the conversion rate, what do you see these numbers looking like after the website closing?
Yeah, we see complete reason, of course. It's going quite steady. It hasn't dropped yet.
Thank you very much. The next one is Costa.
Thanks. Okay. Hello everyone. We would like to present you Cookster, a social cooking guy. Meet Bob. He's 23 years old guy who wants to start cooking. So he tried several ways how to improve his cooking skills, but every time he got disappointed as he saw these huge texts of recipes, which couldn't help him to understand the process of cooking. So nothing helped him until he met Cookster, which made Bob so excited. So what exactly Cookster is? So Cookster will help people to learn how to cook and do it with fun. As a main feature, our application will guide a user through the process of cooking. So to achieve that, each recipe will be divided into special time phases, where user will cook a recipe step by step. To make it more fun, we create a special encouragement system. So each time a user will cook something, he will receive extra experience points to open other recipes, and also a discount voucher to the restaurant to try out the same dish he cooked. Our application niche is located between the following groups. Basically, the people who would like to learn how to cook, active social network users, and people who use smartphones in their everyday life. According to the poll results, about half of Americans are watching our cooking shows, and 8 from 10 people between 18 to 65 years old enjoy cooking. So basically, the world cooking and food industry generate over $4 trillion per year. So our team believes it's a really good time to launch Cookster, since people are thinking about their nutrition and what they are consuming more and more, and starting cooking at home by themselves. So at the moment we have about 300 recipes received from different blog channels for free. We also have received a will to collaborate from different restaurants located in Riga, Tallinn and Russia. Also, we have about 10 different blog channels located in the United States, Latvia, Estonia and Russia, and as well the biggest Latvian cooking blog. So Cookster is a free application, so to get profit, we would like to sell special recipe packs created by professional cooks. To get profit and promotion, we would like to use the following scenario. Each time user will cook something, he will receive a special discount voucher to the restaurant. So, also Cookster collaborates with food delivery services to get our users an opportunity to get the ingredients for the recipe get delivered to the front door with one click. So we would like to charge, food delivery services with a commission fee per each delivery. Also, Cookster collaborates with food companies. Yeah, let's get back. 1 second. Let's get back. Yeah. So Cookster collaborates with food companies which have their own recipes to promote their own products. So we'd like to also get the commission fee for the advertising of the products. Yeah, let's go next. So how we are planning to get to the market? So to get larger audience, we would like to promote Cookster so everybody knows about it. So basically we are collaborating with our partners to get two-sided advertising. Also we are collaborating with the tech and the food blogs to get larger audience and spread our application. So at the moment, there are several ways how to start cooking. These are books, applications, which is really similar to the book sources. They both have the same problem, that it's really hard to get into the whole process of cooking, since there is a really large text and one image. So people get confused and they don't see the timers. How much time do I need to spend to cook some kind of recipe? So what is the sauce of Cookster? Basically, we provide user a really comfortable functionality and which is full of fun. And also people will have a possibility to dive in the process of cooking. So basically, they will not have any difficulties since the application will guide the user through the process of cooking and get notified then if something will happen. So basically the hands-free and non-blocking screen technology will help people to leave their devices without any marks of oil. Our team consists of 6 young and enthusiastic people who are passionate about cooking and have experience in application development as well. So our future plans are the following. The most important is to finish the creation of prototype for iOS version till May 2014. Also, we are collaborating with different tech media and food media and seeking for new partners. So, yeah, thanks a lot and keep calm and cook. I will be really happy to answer questions.
So you have a lot. So I have more like feedback than questions here. I think it's assuming that the problem you want to solve here is you want to have people cook. So because there's like 4 different verticals we talked about here. With the recipes, the restaurants, the delivery, the content, blogs. How do you this could be like a full picture, but how do you envision your value proposition starting from where do you want to start, in what form you prioritize as the main problem that you want to solve?
So thanks a lot for the question. Yeah, we have like 4 different ways how to get profit, as I told you before. But the main problem is that we want to help people to start cooking. This is the main problem. So get this guidance for them, so to make it more fun. But also this food delivery services and other stuff that we provided, it's also to help people to learn how to cook. So basically, if you don't have any ingredients in house, you just click it and you get delivered to your house. So everything is rounded out about this cooking process. So basically, yeah. So the main problem is to help people how to start cook and do it in everyday life.
I would suggest that you streamline and solve the problem in one dimension. Then this would be very, very challenging for a user who, assuming that you're going to get the users to download the app so they can learn how to cook, and then they're going to go in and then they're going to have, it will be extremely difficult to present all your value propositions and all your tricks and to incentivize it. So I would suggest that you focus on figuring out one element of it. If you want to be in the restaurant business and sending people to restaurants, that's a huge business on its own, not an easy one. There's a lot of people in it. If you want to be just the content of recipes and helping people upload their own recipes or use other recipes to cook, it's a huge space in there. So what is the main problem that you have encountered that you believe that you could solve?
Thanks. Basically, it's this cooking process. So we'd like people to provide really easy recipes. Yeah, that's the one thing we want to do, to provide them recipes, to provide them the possibility to get guided to make really good dishes. So that's the main problem we want to solve.
There's no shortage of good recipes online.
Yeah, but the thing is that it's really hard to use them because there is no guidance, no notifications like we provide. We provide a notification system, so people will see how much time do they need to spend. They can go away, they will get notified. The stamp is finished. You get all your chicken from all this stuff. So basically, that's the main problem.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. much. Let's give a warm round of applause. I know you guys are tired. The beer is running out, but we'll just send more people to get more beer, so don't worry. If you're still here, you'll get your beer. So last but not least is Stereo Education.
Hi, hello. So, if you think about what is the single thing that people care about, then to my mind the answer is simple. There are three things. First of all, people care about themselves. Second of all, people care about themselves. And third of all, people care about themselves. In this situation, the donation rates in most universities and most organizations and charities worldwide are pretty much flat. And this is a situation that was there for 6 years in one of the finest schools in Riga, in the Stockholm School of Economics. And so, when getting the brief to fix this problem, the team that I was happy to be part of realized that we need to think of charity as luxury. We need to think of charity as something that competes not with other charities, not with having smiley or sad families in the ads, but it has to compete with things like golf. It has to compete with things like making it rain 5 in the morning in a club, and it has to compete with things like gambling, which are all essentially good ways to spend money for one's own pleasure. And we asked the question, can charity be a game? And the answer we got in terms of the money involved in the participation looked like this. Essentially what happened, what wasn't done in 6 years, was done in 6 weeks by simply shifting the focus of fundraising away from the goal, more to the gamification and having fun in the process. What we did essentially was create a site that is a game run by money. Each time you donate, you appear in live infographics. Each time you donate, your company headquarters become larger in the infographics. Every time you donate, your home country becomes larger on the map. And that was something that motivated people to give more than any good reasons that they were rationally being fed with in the previous years. 92% of people participating wanted to appear in the infographics. Only 1.5% of people actually went to the donate section, to the why donate section to read what is the rational consideration why they should give money. And so charity is more than charity is a many billion industry, and it's wonderful in a sense. To our mind, it's wonderful, which is the product name, which essentially means that it's wonderful when it's fun to donate, or you could also say it's an abbreviation of fucking wonderful. And how the product works is that you have a set of infographics that shows people the donation progress in a visual way. Here, if you are a donor, you can pick one of the chairs in the auditorium online, make your donation buying the chair virtually, and getting the name of yours engraved in the chair in real life. Your class gains prominence in the infographics. Your country of origin appears on the map. You yourself appear more prominent relative to other donors, and your employer gains recognition in the infographics. In another case, it's a construction site, uses a metaphor for building the end result, where each of the construction workers represents a different branch of the organization. And you can make the lazy, otherwise not very engaged workers actually start constructing the site and move the animation forward, done purely by the money donated. And to our mind, a couple of things are wonderful. First of all, it's wonderful when brave clients are willing to pay 500 up to 305,000 euros per month for products of different levels of customization. It's wonderful when industry-leading organizations as these that you see on the screen engage with the product. And it's wonderful that the market grows with inequality. Basically, the more unequal the society becomes, the more demand there is for something like that. And generally, it's wonderful to believe that one day you will all donate the fun way. So thank you very much.
So, you guys are brilliant, brilliantly creative, talented, great entrepreneurs. This is the second company before where I'm really shocked in this concept of we found a trick that can influence the behavior of the internet user, the fundraiser, whoever it is, or the donor in this case. And we believe because we can influence this in the short term and show something, therefore this is a business worth building, this is a company that we should devote our time and attention to. And what's going to happen when fundraising become gimmicks like this and gamified like that? And then what? Why are you doing this? And why just you think that, scoring a few thousands or whatever dollars short term is a game that you're willing to continue to play, because those games don't have much life to continue forward. Where is the opportunity here to use this brilliant, creative stuff in a way that is sustainable, valuable, long-term, and really solve the problem of charity. Charity is needed because someone is championing a cause that there's too much cost to it, and they need to bring this cause to for others to support this cause. So I don't know. This is not a question. I'm just like, you guys are so freaking talented. Why not look a little beyond this? Because with this kind of things, you could create something that would have a 5-minute lifespan, and this 5 minutes it'll make you $5 million maybe. But then I've seen these things. These things are, money is not really where the meaning is going to come into your life. You'll spend this money quickly on some other unexpected things. Easy come, easy go. So I really like what you built, and I like gamification as a concept. I love the charity. I agree with you that charity is competing because it's an equal thing and an image issue, so there's many other competing things with it. But why not really try to crack this problem the right way?
Thank you. We believe it is the right way to crack the problem. We believe that games that are social have a different lifespan than games that are built for single-player use. We believe that it's more than a game, it's a culture change. It gives stock value to people who engage in it. You should have seen the excitement that the people who donated for the Stockholm School had at the reunion where they met in the end of the year, and how they could discuss how the game went, how they had ideas for the next year's game, and how the next year's game's results were much higher than the previous ones, because they engaged the other people who weren't part of it. And the great thing about games in fundraising is that it recognizes the individual who makes the contribution more than the typical ways of fundraising, which are trying to do just that by nameplates and by different rankings. but it does it in a more sustainable way to our mind, closer to stories, closer to different kinds of games that have survived for hundreds of years. So in this sense, you could talk about changing the principles, the modules of the game, but what really remains is the principle that people love playing games, and if they can play a game and support a good cause in the process, we believe it's a culture change that this is lasting.
All right, thank you very much. So we're at the end of our evening. So before we get off to the final beers, once again you can tweet to win a ticket, tell the reason. But Fadi, could you maybe say a few words about the startups you've seen? And can you choose your favorite? Because I'm going to give them one ticket as well.
Okay, so thanks for all the 4 startups. They're definitely very talented. Clearly, great possibilities and a lot of good things to be built. Despite my last lecture about this fundamental possibility, a lot of value creation possibilities can happen. I like the Solar Works as my favorite. I see very clearly improving the quality of sounds and using technology to improve the quality of sounds for a better experience of hearing music. That's great. I like all 4 of them because I can see really a lot of talents and a lot of possibilities. And no matter what they do with Works, what is it called, the other targeting, I think it's also, all of them are great learning process, and all of them is going to be the discovery along finding the great path. So I'm very happy to see this because I think all this is needed to experience and to continue to build and learn from creating products that's going to win in some ways and not in others, but having the talent and the possibility and the initiative of people to doing it is great. So I'm very pleased and great to see that there are great people using their brains to try to be creative and innovative and launch businesses. So thanks for having me.